Hey guys, PJ here with Exotic Car Hacks, and today joining me is Sam, a veteran of Exotic Car Hacks.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
So, first off, welcome to actually being willing to share some of your experience here with some of our members.
Of course.
This is now your what? Third hack, fourth hack? How many cars?
Third hack now.
Third hack.
Third hack in less than a year and a half.
Okay, so in 1.5 years, this is now the third exotic car you get to buy. So can you first just look at kind of our audience here and tell us a little bit about you, meaning like what line of work are you in?
Yeah, of course.
In general, like what kind of lifestyle do you live?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in South Florida, 27 years old. I'm a digital consultant by trade, so I'm a techie. But, growing up, I've always loved cars, always been passionate about the automotive industry. So always wanted to aspire to own a supercar like this one day. And I really didn't think at the age of 30 even I would own something like this. And I acquired my first supercar at 26 because of the course. So I'm very happy to be here.
So what was your dream car growing up?
Dream
like what was the car you were looking at and you were like, God, I need this? Like
Lamborghini Murcielago. That was the dream.
So that was the Countach of your time, basically,
that
right?
was it. Like I used to play Need for Speed growing up. I used to have the posters on the wall and everything. I think it was the yellow one. It was like an orangish yellow, actually. You know which one I'm talking about?
No, exactly. Yeah. So that car is now somewhere around 250 grand.
Yeah.
Which is like within reach now, right?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
So is that going to be the next hack?
No, I think my taste changed slightly. That's something that's going to be a collector car down the road. Maybe next I'm thinking potentially of a Gen 2 R8. I know I've told you before, I've really liked the 458 Italias. I may have
those are great cars.
I may have missed my timing on that, but who knows? They may still keep appreciating, so I may get one of those next too. But
So let's talk about your first hack ever, right? What was the car?
So the first car ever was a 2014 Audi R8 V10. So that was heavily modified, HRE wheels, a Kropovich exhaust, the quilted seats on the inside, aftermarket carbon fiber steering wheel, tuned, lowered, everything on it done. I purchased that through the Car Finder service. I entered the course and I was going through it and I felt very comfortable with everything. But I was like, okay, it's my first time around. Let me just make sure I understand the process firsthand. I want to see it for myself and make sure I do it right the right time. So
how much did you buy that car for?
So we bought that for $93,000, PJ.
Okay. $93,000 all in on a $150,000 car, basically. And how long did you drive it? What was the experience like being the first exotic?
That was the ultimate experience. I can't even tell you. I felt like a little kid every single time I drove that car. The day that it came off the delivery truck, I honestly felt like, am I really doing this right now? Because I was 26 years old, and again, I didn't think based on how financials and everything like that work, that this is something that's really realistic for me to buy based on depreciation, resale, and everything like that. But
what were you driving before you bought that? Like, what was the car you had physically with you?
I had a few cars. I've always been a luxury car guy. Unfortunately, I've lost a shitload of money on leases, which is unfortunate.
Which is very normal for people coming into the course. They go, I thought that was the best way.
A 335 BMW, a 435 BMW, a C-Class coupe. But my latest car that I had was a Yasmarina Blue M4 BMW 2018,
I remember that car,
which it was a beautiful car.
That's a nice car.
I loved it, but I will spend more money on 1 year's lease payments of that BMW than it would cost me to own this, my R8, and my other Macan GTS. Together combined. It will cost me a fraction. So that just puts it in perspective a little bit.
So, but coming from somewhat of a nice car, I mean, you weren't like in a broke Mazda 3 or anything. You were still in a luxury car, right?
I was still in a luxury car.
And you moved up to like a supercar, which is. So you said you felt like a kid driving it. What else happened for you as this? Because I saw you were on a ton of photos and things like that. So tell me about like what happened as a result of owning your first car.
Relationships as well. The community is strong. So not only the Exotic Car Hacks community, but just based on having a car. You go to Supercar shows, you go to meetups and stuff like that. You meet other owners and you just build relationships, build other car groups, networks, and things like that. And it's just long, life-term type of stuff. So,
did you make any new friends as a result, or
of course?
Did you earn
My buddy
any new
over
business?
Here. No, I haven't actually had direct business yet from that, but I know that's eventually something that's going to come out of it. That's not something I'm looking for directly. I'm more of a passionate car person from the day I was born. So for me, just being able to own these the most cost-effective way possible is enough for me, to be honest.
So you got your first R8. You enjoyed it. thoroughly. You make some new friends, first experience in the supercar game.
Made money on it.
Well, so tell me about that. Like you exit the car, how long after, and what was the dollar?
8 months after for 104,600, which sounds great. Yes, I made money, but if I had held the car for another month, let's say, I probably would have pocketed another 10,000 at least, because you know how the R8 market exploded. But yeah, so because of that, I would have profited an extra $10,000 if I had sold it a month later because of how the market went. So.
Okay. So, I mean, in this case, though, one of the things that's interesting to me is that you could have held it longer.
Yes.
And you could have made even more money, right?
But
then you fell in love with something better.
Yeah. I love this. This is amazing.
So this came about. Tell me how was that transition? What made you go from a car that was 150 new to a car that was 300,000 new? Because this is technically twice what the R8 was.
So the R8 was like $180,000.
Okay, so 180.
So that was a really nice.
But this is still 320.
Yeah, this was a 320, almost $325,000.
Okay, so there you go. So that's like almost twice as much.
It's amazing.
So it's a big
quality. The V12 engine. I mean, it's unreal. Don't get me wrong. The R8 performance, of course, is something that's better, but. Overall daily driving experience, I'd rather have this for sure.
Okay, so this is a big upgrade for you, and this was your first V12, right?
Yeah, and I always wanted an Aston Martin because of the James Bond movies. I'm sure everyone's seen them. They always saw the Aston Martins, and this to me, the Vanquish is just always the iconic, timeless car. And me, I'm personally all about unique specs, so I had to get something like this. And luckily, I was able to strike a very, very good deal on it, and. I'm sure I'm going to be in a profitable position afterwards too.
So you know what I love about your story is that you're a very smart guy. Like, when I first watched you go through the course, you were very analytical, and even you came to the Car Finder. For people that don't know what the Car Finder is, it's a process where we help you basically get into your first car. So we hold your hand through that process so you get a little bit less afraid, or what's a good deal, or are you thinking about this properly, or are you looking at the inspection properly? But one of the things that happened with you is you came to me with a sheet.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude came up with all the cars in the country, and he's ready to go to war, right?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was really good.
I was very analytical by day.
Right.
So
but you know what I loved is you did that. We worked together to get your first car. Kind of like
we made it happen very quickly.
Right, but we also kind of validated what you already knew, right? Yeah. It wasn't something like you had already picked that car, kind of like this is what I'm looking at. I think it's a better car, and it was more like, hey, this is more of a blessing than it's like anything
100%.
else. And you instantly bought the car. 100%. Did well, right? But one of the things I like best is you didn't do it again the next time. You were like, okay, I get the process now. Exactly. I've gone through it. I bought. I sold. I've driven, I understand what I'm looking for. And then you go into this all by yourself, making that transition. You even use that resources to not have to pay taxes twice, which was incredibly, awesome and just good to be able to find these loopholes.
Almost 10 grand. You got to take advantage of things like that. I mean, that's what you need to know.
But previous to this, did you know that? Did you know you could have?
EJ, there's so many things I was oblivious to. The course has opened me up to so many things. The best ways to get financing and leveraging your cash the right way, the tax credits, things like repairs, maintenance, what are the best resources, where you should be buying aftermarket things if you need to do something like that. Resell. The most important thing I learned is photographs, taking professional photographs. My cars have all sold within less than a week. And most of the buyers tell me, because my pictures are so good, I had to get something like this. This is phenomenal. This is the top of the line spec. You made it look beautiful. So
something that comes to mind is you said something right now that just triggered me. People are skeptical before joining, right? They go, oh, this is scam. There's no way you get a free car. There's no way. They don't understand the process, right?
Yeah.
But then even when people go through it, they sometimes still have a little bit of hesitation because they go, can I do this? I get these guys are doing it, but what about me? Can I actually do this? Should I do it at this level? Should I start little, etc.? What was the thing in the course that gave you the confidence to be like, I can do this. This isn't that crazy. What he's talking about makes sense.
It was honestly the community itself, seeing the members in the Facebook group, talking about their hacks, talking about their
because we have a lot of
studies and things like that. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of case studies on there of people hacking cars, and it just gives you that assurance that, hey, these types of vehicles are the right ones to look at based on depreciation, specs, options, and whatnot. And it just puts you in that positive position that, okay, I should be doing pretty well on the resale. I'll either be breaking even, minimal loss, or I'll be profitable. So the community assurance is really something that gave me the assurance that I know what I'm doing. Other people are doing the similar types of things and are successful at it. If I follow the process and similarly to what other people are doing too, why can't I do the same? And of course, it's worked out for me. If you go outside of the process, you're going to have issues, and I've seen it happen for people. So that's the thing. You can't be emotional.
If you follow the model, it works because it's worked for 20 years.
Exactly.
You know, that's basically the simplicity of it.
Exactly.
But you know what I also like about you is you went and basically advanced your learning going into part 2, which taught you about mods and things like that. So you're using that now to mod cars slightly and learn how to leverage that for value, et cetera. So that's why I wanted you to have this interview here, because I thought there was so much value in someone who's really encompassed and used the information, not just like, hey, I took it, but like actually is doing something with it.
So I've used every single part of, you know, all the courses, PJ, to be honest. Like you mentioned in Exotic Car Hacks Part 2 and New Car Hacks, the modifications. When it comes to the R8, you know how heavily modified it already came with, but we added some additions to it, things that you mentioned to me might make it look a lot hotter. And again, my car resold quicker than any other R8 on the market. It was the last car on Car Guru's sale, because you know how the algorithm puts the highest car price at the bottom. I was the highest car, but I sold within 4 days.
And you know what's funny is people always argue with me. They're like, you have to buy low and sell high. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with hacking. And so, you know, if you had one piece of advice you could leave new car hackers or people that just took the course, they learned, they're ready to go, what would you say to that person?
I would say definitely go through the course as many times as possible. Fully understand the information as much as you can. Align your financials with your pursuit and make sure you don't overdo it. Don't stretch your goals. You know, be comfortable. Don't take too high of a risk your first time around. Make sure that you're doing it right the first time. And again, be open to the community. Make sure you ask questions, but you know, show that you've gone through the course at least, because you know, we always want to help everyone, but at least show that you've gone through the course, and you know, we don't have to do the work for you, of course. But
well, very cool. So first off, I appreciate you sharing that with people. I think there's a lot of value here, and congrats. I think it's one of the most beautiful vanquishes I've ever seen.
PJ.
This actually used to be one of my favorite cars of all time.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. It's going to be tough to get rid of. But
it's tough to outdo for the money. Meaning that I don't think there's much of a
bang
car
for the
out there
buck.
for the bang for the buck. It's
Bang
pretty
for
much
the buck,
one of the best.
It's one of the best.
So there you have it, guys. You heard from Sam. He shared with you some of his thoughts, some of the things that he had to overcome to basically get here, where he's now on his third hack. So I want to again encourage all of you guys to follow Sam and other members by using our community, our resources, and again, more interviews like this coming to help you guys become better hackers. Thanks again, Sam.
Of course,
appreciate
PJ.
you. And guys, we'll catch you next time.